Okay. What?
Watch your profanity.
What's up, selectors? Select screen in the building here, man. And oh man, it looks like we're already frozen. Let me get this camera fixed, but I want to give a huge shout out to all my selectors tonight. We're doing something a little different, man. Trying to find the niche a little bit. So let me get this camera hooked back up. We're going to be reacting to IGN's top 10 wrestling games and then making our own list. So we're going to try something a little bit different. How's that? Is that better? There we go. There we go. Trying something a little bit different. We already got 7 selectors in here.
Perfect.
Appreciate you guys. All you guys. I got to give a huge shout out to somebody I've been missing in the stream for a while. A vet. Shout out to, he's upgraded his channel a little bit. VR Adventures in Historical Wrestling. I know him as Historical Wrestling. Shout out to Historical coming back. Shout out to Clue, who's been rocking with me. Shout out to DJ, who's been rocking with me. And let's give a huge welcome and a woo in the chat, man. A woo in the chat. Woo! For Super Mario Wii 2007, which we'll probably just call Mario for short, man. Lots of good questions in the chat. We're going to get to all of those questions. We're going to watch this video IGN talked about. We're going to figure out if we agree or not with their list, and then we'll make our own list. And I am willing to be persuaded. That's why I needed Historical in here, because he really captures an era in time that I kind of dropped out of wrestling. And so I'm excited, man. I'm excited. We're going to jump into all these comments in just a second. If you wouldn't mind, while you're here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 followers this year on TikTok. We're at about 200. We're on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. And yeah, man, head over to that TikTok, hit it up, follow us. You can get there by going to linktr.ee/select screen. All right, let's jump into this thing, man. I'm really ready to do this. I'm ready. You're ready. Let's go. First things first, before we do anything, we're going to go through these comments, man. Historical says, yo. Mario said, what up? DJ said, who is the cover star for 2K23 Select? I think it's got to be Sammy. I think Sammy's got to be on the cover, man. If you don't do Roman. Maybe they do the whole bloodline, but they're the biggest thing. They're the biggest thing. The bold pick that they could do for the cover, a bold pick, is to put one person on it, and it's a female. What if they put Bianca on it, and only Bianca? I can only think of one other time where we've had a woman on the cover. Well, not exclusively, because Roman was on that cover too. So, what a crazy thing. They put Bianca just on the cover. That'd be crazy. And she's got a lot of heat right now. I don't know. But I think more than likely they'll put the whole bloodline on there. It'll be like Bloodline Edition or something like that. I can see them doing that. Watching the stream while watching Kushida is wrestling. Nice. Shout out to Clue, man.
Bruh.
My man Clue been keeping me up to date on stuff that I didn't even know I needed to be. I appreciate you so much. The cover of 2K needs to be a legend. Ooh, what legend would you put? What legend would you put? You know who I put on there? Put Macho Man and do a Macho Man showcase. What do you think about that, Mr. Stream Deck?
Woo!
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see. AEW Wrestling Mario. Laugh out loud, WWE is entertainment. Man, that's not a bad look. Rumor. So Clue's been keeping me up to date on a lot of what's been going on, and was telling me that they were thinking about merging at one point in time. That's the latest rumor. But bro, I heard that maybe it's not so much a merger as AEW buying WWE. That would be crazy. You're frozen. Yeah, that's better. Okay, cool, Mario. Got it. DJ said 2K20 is top 5. Yikes. We're going to go through it. I think some of the later ones in this list haven't been added, but we need to talk about it. Clue said entertainment, collective blood money, and more lawsuits at DJ. Mario says, yes, sir. DJ said, what about Kevin Owens? Not a bad pick. The only thing I don't like about Kevin Owens, I like the character. I like the whole KO thing. I just don't like the stunner. I think you got to let the stunner breathe a little bit. Mario agrees. HBK never made the cover, did he? He was on the cover of SmackDown versus Raw. See, this is where I need my guy. Was it SmackDown versus Raw 2007? I want to say he was. Put Randy on the cover. The only problem with Randy Orton right now is word is he's hurt and he might not be coming back. That's the last thing I heard. And that's a complete rumor. All right, man, let's jump into this thing. Let's talk about this top 10 list. I need you guys to go through this with me and tell me what you guys think. Comments as we go. We will stop the video, but let's really make this a big dialogue. Let's talk this up because I need to know what you guys think. And I need some input because there's a couple of games, like I said, I fell off. DX was on SV 2009. Okay, yeah. Give KO his original Ring of Honor, Kevin Steen, the Cradle Pile Driver. Exactly. Give him something else. I don't even like the way he really does it. It's just not this. Oh, thank you, babe. Why is it warm? That was the weirdest sensation. It's a warm glass with ice water in it. I was like, what in the world? I was not expecting that at all. That was really weird. She had just washed the glass out of the dishwasher for me. Anyway, moving on. Let's jump into this video. Thank you again, honey. Let's see what IGN says first. Are we cool with that? Tony owns Ring of Honor. WWE can't buy the move. Oh. Bro, that would make a lot of sense. All right, let's see what you got, IGN.
It may not seem like it given the current state of the genre, but wrestling games used to be a really big deal.
This came out
They were
2
some of
years
the
ago.
earliest examples of one-on-one fighting games back in the early days of gaming.
Okay.
And moving on to the N64 and PlayStation 1 eras, they provide each of those consoles with some of the best
Mario says
multiplayer
yes. Cool.
experiences to be had. To celebrate the storied history of wrestling and video games, let's take a look back at the top 10 wrestling video games of all time.
Any objections so far? We good? We all right? I'm ready to fight this list already. Number 10, Saturday Night Slam Masters.
At their core, wrestling games are fighting games. But perhaps no game embraced the fighting game aspect quite as heavily as Saturday Morning Slam Masters. Developed by Capcom, Saturday Morning Slam Masters was shallow fun with awesome looking characters designed by Tetsuo Ohara of Fists of the North Star fame. It also incorporated wrestling quite nicely with short character entrances,
Hagar.
a count out victory condition, and the ability to utilize attacks from the top rope.
Let's talk about that. I understand the legacy part of that, right? I get it. I understand. I don't think that game should have been on the list. I don't think that game should be on the list at all. Mari says, I think we're good. Okay. Is WWF in your house? WC W vs Nitro or WCW World Tour not on here, I call bull. If see, that's what I'm saying. Here we go with this list. I really Hagar was in there. That's bonus points. I would give that an honorable mention. But top 10 best, I can think of 10 better games than that game. For yes, you get some nostalgia, but not for of all time, right? When I think of for all time, like if you're introducing 10 games to someone who's never played them, what are those 10 games? That game's not one of them. Let's keep it moving. Fire Pro Wrestling. I've never played this, and this is on PS4. If you guys have played Fire Pro, put a woo in the chat. Put a woo in the chat for me.
The Fire Pro Wrestling series has a storied history dating all the way back to 1989, but its latest iteration, Fire Pro Wrestling World, is easily the best version to date. The relationship between Fire Pro Wrestling and other wrestling games has always had a Coke or Pepsi kind of feel to it, where wrestling fans largely preferred either one or the other due to Fire Pro Wrestling's unique control system and iconic isometric camera angle. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but Fire Pro Wrestling World's deep library of wrestling moves and created wrestlers is undeniably impressive and makes it worthy of a spot on this list.
Okay. Now, I'm willing to hear you guys out on this. See, DJ's with me on this. I've never played Fire Pro. I thought I recognized some of these wrestlers here. Is it Homeboy right here in AEW? I could be wrong. Clue says, woo, the streaming community is crazy, really. I wonder how much it is on like PlayStation, bro. I'd be willing to try it if it's not too crazy. I'd be willing to try it though. Mario said, I've never played that before. See, that's what I'm saying. And we've got some diehard wrestling fans in here who have never played this game. I mean, DJ is like, what is Fire Pro? Ric Flair is a psycho in Fire Pro 1. I think I've heard about the ending. Isn't he like, in the ending of Fire Pro 1, it's like he really goes all like crazy? Fire Pro Wrestling 2 has people from NJPW. Okay. All right, cool. All right. Oh, man, we should do a review on that. So me and my wife, side note, guys, we watched Escape the Undertaker last night on Netflix. And it's like an interactive, like taking New Day and having them try to get the Undertaker's urn. Thank you for that, honey. It was so much fun, man. It was so much fun. Maybe one day, I don't know, we might have to go to Twitch with it, but one day we'll do that on stream, right? We'll watch the Netflix movie, make decisions, and we'll do it as a stream. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. All right, so moving on from Fire Pro, this would be, I'm going to tell you right now, this is probably my number 10. I can tell you. WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game.
Wrestling is at its best when it embraces and revels in its absurdity. And no wrestling game did that better than WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game.
Yes.
Developed by the makers of NBA Jam, WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, essentially did for wrestling what NBA Jam did for basketball.
We need a
Undertaker
remake
would
of
bust
this.
out gravestones to beat people over the head with, Razor Ramon could turn his arm into a literal razor, and Doink the Clown would attack with hand buzzers and comically oversized mallets.
Now, that's just good fun, man. We need a game like this again. And I would not be opposed to it looking like this, where we go back to the old school, like, Mortal Kombat NBA Jam look. That would be really, really fun.
What?
Let's say Ric Flair kills a person, and your person commits suicide in Fire Pro 1. It's dark. That's nuts. Jeez. Too much, man. DJ said, they're going to put games I ain't played. Bro, I've got this on the arcade machine that you see behind me there. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. This game it's really a fighting game. It's so much fun. Mario says, dang. Top 10 Bam Bam Bigelow was my favorite. Man, Bam Bam was dope.
It was ridiculous arcade fun and always a great spot to spend 25 cents back at a 90s arcade.
Yeah, this was great. Holy moly. WWF WrestleMania 2000, they have it at number 7. Let me tell you right now, this is way too low. This is a top 5 easy.
Bruh.
Top 5 easy. What are they going to say about unless like Clue was saying, they got a ton of other amazing games. DJ said, let me buy your arcade. I'll hit you up with some stuff, bro. I'll hit you up.
Aki Corporation is a legend in the wrestling video game world, as you'll quickly learn via this list.
These
And
are
while
some of the
WrestleMania
best wrestling
2000
games ever.
Isn't their best game or their first game, it was the first time the developer was able to show what they're able to do with the WWF roster
Absolutely.
during a time when wrestling was at its peak.
Clue says, no. Cuss, I want you to get explicit. I don't, though, bro. I really don't get explicit, even off stream. I really don't. Because we got one rule, bro. We got one rule.
Watch your profanity.
There it is. Clue says, not a 7. There's no way this game's
The
7.
Attitude Era.
Come on.
WrestleMania 2000 took the foundation of everything that was laid down in WCW vs. NWO World Tour and Revenge and refined it, resulting in one of the best wrestling games of the N64 era.
One of the best, yes. At 7, no. Ultimate Muscle? Legends versus New Generation made the list? I need a sound bite of Chris Jericho. If anybody can find that on YouTube, just of Chris Jericho saying, you made the list. I need that. All right? DJ said, this is a 10 because I never played it. I've played one of these games, and it's not in the top 10. I'll just tell you that right now. This is crazy.
Sometimes in the world of anime video games, there's just a perfect matching of developer with anime property. It happened with Arc System Works and Dragon Ball Z with Dragon Ball FighterZ, and it also happened with Kinnikuman and Aki Corporation. Known in the US as Ultimate Muscle,
it was
Ultimate Muscle,
Aki that
Legends
made it.
versus New Generation
So I get it.
is the perfect blend of wrestling and fantasy. Featuring a combination of real-life wrestling holds, out-of-this-world super moves.
DJ said WWF 2000 is a 10. Oh yeah, 10 out of 10.
And that tried and true Aki style of wrestling gameplay that centers around punches, grapples, and reversals. Also, there's Dick Van Dyke, which is just a fun thing to say.
That game is definitely not better than WWF WrestleMania 2000. Where are we going here? 2K14.
The WWE 2K series has been on such a downward trend over the last few years that it can be hard to remember the good times. But the good times were actually pretty great. WWE 2K14 marked the pinnacle of the series, as it was the wrestling swan song of the PS3/Xbox 360 era and contained years of iterations and improvements to the formula.
I need to hear from Historical on this one. How do you feel about 2K14? That's crazy. Mario says, I barely play wrestling games, so yeah, but I think they look interesting. Definitely, man. Of them all, if you got a PS3 laying around, again, this is why we're kind of doing this list, right? 2K14 is not a bad game to suggest. I would probably put this at like 9. Not 9 out of 10, but like in the list from 10 to 1, 1 being the best. I'd put this at a 9. It definitely deserves to make the list.
Culminating in one of the best traditional wrestling games of all time. Then WWE 2K15 stumbled through the wall like the Shockmaster, and 2K has been trying to put everything back together ever since. But that's beside the point. WWE 2K14 was peak WWE 2K.
How do I get N64 on my computer? I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
A plethora of match types, fantastic roster, and genuinely solid.
See, it was the mini games for me in this. Mini games like this. This is what made it cool.
Wrestling gameplay.
Whoa. Okay, like WWF, the arcade game, WWE All-Stars is a lot of fun to play. A lot of fun to play. I'd probably put it at an honorable mention. One of those pick up and play. I think I beat this game in like 2 hours. That's the only reason. But this is a fun game. I'm okay with this one.
An underrated gem, WWE All-Stars is quite simply the best arcade wrestling game there's ever been. Developed by THQ San Diego and led by creative director Sal
That's
Vita,
fair.
who also worked on WWF WrestleMania the arcade game, WWE All-Stars let go of any notion of realism or simulation and focused on the fun of wrestling.
That's fair.
And the result was,
That's definitely
shocker, a ridiculously fun wrestling game. But more than that, it was a smartly designed fighting game as well, with some of the coolest wrestling super moves there have ever been.
I'd like an updated version of that game. If they put it out cheap, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. Remaster All-Stars, yeah. I agree, man. I wouldn't be mad at that. Clue says Ultimate Muscle makes it over WCW versus Nitro World Tour, and you tell me that game is higher than WWF Arcade? I'm slapping the IGN narrator. Ultimate Muscle, yeah. Again, it's an Aki game. I get it, but it's not over those other games. Here Comes the Pain at 3.
SmackDown Here Comes the Pain is similar to WWE 2K14 in that it was kind of the culmination of years of improvements and represented the SmackDown series when it was at its best. Then developer Ukes decided to change things up with SmackDown vs. Raw, which was its own subseries. But Here Comes the Pain will always be remembered as the peak of the core SmackDown line of games. Its fighting was fast-paced and incredibly satisfying. The game's dynamic usage of camera angles heightened the excitement of every move. There was an insane number of match types.
That's what I was going to get to.
Weapons, you could stack tables, you could stack ladders on tables.
Yes.
And overall, the game hit a perfect blend of simplicity and depth that wasn't quite matched in later years of the series.
Yes. And it was the slow motion stuff. Oh my gosh. Spoilers, hold on. This game, I'm going to tell you guys right now. We're going to make our own list here in a second. DJ says, shocked that TNA Impact ain't on this list. I never played Impact, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think SmackDown Here Comes the Pain is probably, after seeing what's coming up next, I would say it's probably the second best wrestling game of all time. I loved it. For everything that they said, the match types, but it was all of the things you could do. You could throw people off helicopters. You could just do everything. You could jump off the big fist from SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain needs a remake very, very bad. Very, very bad.
Oh, yeah!
That's a really good game. I'm not mad at them putting it at 3 only because
Usage of camera angles heightened the
of
years of the
this.
series.
AEW Fight Forever, like Here Comes the Pain.
Def Jam Fight for
yes,
New York
but it's supposed to be
represent
more
perhaps
like
the biggest
this.
departure from Aki's bread and butter combat system.
I can't
but
believe they put
despite
Def
a
Jam in
greater
there.
focus on strikes and environmental interactables, Def Jam Fight for New York is still undeniably a wrestling game, albeit one that trades in the spandex superheroes of the wrestling ring for hip-hop stars like Redman, Method Man, and Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Fight for New York was actually the second Def Jam wrestling game from Aki, and while the first game, Def Jam Vendetta, wasn't bad by any stretch, Fight for New York simply improves upon it in every way.
Fair enough.
It still holds up to this day, and if there's any justice in the world, one day we'll see it again in some form.
Def Jam Fight for New York is not only one of the best wrestling games, and the only reason why it didn't come to my mind is you don't really pin in that game. Vendetta, you do. This game, Fight for New York, is one of the greatest fighting games, period. Just period. It's crazy good. It's really deep. But it's also very pick up and play. And it does a lot of things that SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain did. It's just a fantastic game. It's just fantastic all the way around. Let's see. Shocked that WWF Raw is not on the list that ECW stole. That Raw game that came out on Xbox was bad, bro. It was bad. There's a lot of collision detection. Like you do a choke slam and they'd grab their face. It was rough. Mario says, I wonder what number one is going to be. Hope it's something good. If it's not, I'm just going to tell you. If it's not No Mercy, if it's not No Mercy, it doesn't belong. Better than the others. But yeah, definitely better than the others. It seems like they got the top three pretty close. You could probably put them in any kind of order. IGN narrator skipped SmackDown versus Raw 2008. That's what I'm saying. Some SmackDown versus Raw's got to be in there instead of some of these other games. Clue says we'll never going to get another Def Jam as much as they tease it on Twitter. You know, it's so frustrating. That's actually how I met DJ Crystal Clear, is we were playing Def Jam. And it's so bad. It's so bad. It makes me want to make my own game and just do it. You know what I mean? Just make a game with, instead of calling him Exhibit, call him Zibbit. You know what I'm saying? And just make it over again and see what happens. Clue said, watch it be WWE Battlegrounds. That boy, I'd be so mad.
See it again in some form.
There it is. Let's go. They got it right. They got it right.
What's so wonderful about WWF No Mercy is that despite everything it lacks in comparison to modern wrestling games, from commentary to flashy entrances to Titantron videos that don't look like scrambled porn, its fundamentals are so strong that it still holds up in the one area that matters most.
Why can't we just remake this game?
No Mercy simply
Update it with the
feels
rosters.
amazing to
I
play.
think that's what we're
On
getting
top
with
of its stellar
AEW.
gameplay,
DJ.
No Mercy was also one of the most fully featured wrestling games on the
Yes.
market. It had a great story mode that branched like a visual novel depending on your wins and losses, an exhaustive create a wrestler mode, and an excellent roster consisting of just about every notable wrestler from the Attitude Era.
What makes this game better than SmackDown, and I'm a SmackDown guy. I've been playing the original SmackDown since Circuit City was around. That's how I played it first, at a Circuit City. What makes this game better was the way that titles were. Me and my childhood friends who I still talk to today, I still have the original cartridge. We would play this and we would have number one contender matches, blah, 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 blah. And the belts moved and stayed with your character. It was one of the first games I can remember that did that, right? So if Eddie Guerrero won the WWF Championship and you did a title match with your buddy who came over to spend the night, and he won it with The Rock. Next time you guys played the next weekend, The Rock had the belt. That was mind-blowing at the time, you guys. Mind-blowing. I'm glad they got the last one right. You could put
No
those
Mercy
top
was
three
a
in
total
any order.
package,
And we're going to
it helped
debate that in a
cement
second.
the N64's legacy as one of the best consoles for wrestling games. And that's our list. What are some of your favorite wrestling?
Pretty good. How would you guys rate their list 1 out of 10? There it is. Here we go. Here we go, DJ. That's the one I was talking about with Raw. We're going to get into this list, man. This is going to be fun. I'm excited to do something like this with you guys. What do you guys think of that list? For me, I'm going to give that list a 7 out of 10. There were some big blunders, some big missing games. Right? Mid. I love it. 7 out of 10 for Mario as well. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Mid. I love it. All right, so we're missing. I just found this thing, Tier Maker. It's not showing 2K. Where it looks like the most recent was 2K 20. So let's talk about that. But we're going to just kind of start from the bottom. Let me throw some jams on for us. In games we haven't played, we'll just put in this. The way the categories kind of work is never played, F through A, and then S being S tier. So let's just go through this list. It's kind of small. Let's see if I can't. Is that better? All right. Power move. And there's your Ultimate Galactic Wrestling. Gosh, how do I? This is interesting. Let's start from the top. Maybe if we take them out of here, does it refill? It does. It does. All right. They didn't put any backyard wrestling in this at all. SmackDown, just bring it. This game for me, I'm going to give this game, I'm going to put it at a C. I was super hyped for this. It came out, it had some flaws, but they really tried to do something different with that and bring it out of, let's see, what was it, SmackDown 2? That was the first one on PS2? I think so. ICP got a game out. That's right. Backyard Wrestling. I've actually never played it. Anybody in the chat played it? I've heard it was pretty bad. I'm going to put it right here. You guys talk it out in the chat. King of the Ring, I've never played. They didn't talk about Legends of Wrestling. Where would you guys put Legends of Wrestling? Do they have the second one in here too? Mario has not. Oh, and Clue hasn't. Legends of Wrestling is a very, let me give you just a little bit. Oh, Inception, sorry. Let me give you a little bit of Legends of Wrestling. If you like WWE All-Stars, I think you'd like Legends of Wrestling. This is one that I would recommend trying. So when SmackDown was really in the SmackDown, he said F. When SmackDown was in its heyday, right? Legends of Wrestling tried to do something different. And what they did is, it doesn't look fantastic, but they tried to go and get all the legends signed. It was like, kind of like when NFL 2K went and got all the legends. Mario, or Clue gave it an F, but it's a while back. It's not fantastic, but they tried to do something different with the button presses, the timing of holds. And so for that, I'm going to, and you guys can talk me down from this. You can talk me down from this. I'm going to give it, the first one, a D. I'm going to say it wasn't great, but it tried something different. It's something that you could try. Lucha Libre Heroes, I haven't played that. SmackDown versus Raw 2009. See, that's the one I was thinking of with Shawn Michaels on the cover. I was a fan of SmackDown versus Raw until about 2007. That's when I stopped playing. Mario said F. F for SmackDown? Put which game, because I know I'm kind of flying through. Put what game you're giving those for. But I'm gonna go here with 2009. I'm gonna give it a C as well. It was fine. 8. I'm gonna go with the same score. I'm gonna give it a C. It was okay. No, F for Legends of Wrestling. Oh. Okay. F for Legends of Wrestling. I'll compromise on it. I'll compromise. We'll come down to an E. I feel good about that. That's fine. WCW Backstage Assault. Here's our first stinker. That game is terrible. Only backstage arenas. Terrible. This is going to surprise you too. I did not like WWE 12 at all. Again, I can be persuaded to at least come up to an E. But Mario, when we're trying to suggest games to you, my guy, that one wasn't it. If you've never played, or if you don't play a lot of wrestling games, that's not one I would send you to. Now, 2K16? 2K16, bro? Come on up here. 2K16 is our first A. 2K16 was legit. It was legit. Lots of good animations in that game. 2K16 was good. Is Day of Reckoning? Let me see if Day of Reckoning is the one I'm thinking of. I didn't have a GameCube, but my local store had a couple of GameCube wrestling games, and I would go in and play it. Clue's good with that one. Okay. Day of Reckoning. Let's see which one. I have to put WWF apparently. I think it was F at that time. It might have been E. It was. Day of Reckoning GameCube trailer. Look at the aspect ratio. One of the things about the GameCube era was similar to what SmackDown did. Here Comes the Pain. You could throw people through tables and it worked correctly. You didn't have to like put them next to the table, then grapple them, and then throw them through the table. You could just suplex them and they just go through the table. The problem was you were playing with a GameCube controller and it just was not good. Not that the GameCube controller is bad. It's great for Smash Bros. Hey, Mario's going to bed. Hey, thanks, bro. Appreciate you so much for chiming in. Let us know. Make sure to join the Discord and let us know what you want to see next. For sure, man. And we're gonna fire through some of these. So I'm gonna go with a B here because the mechanics of Day of Reckoning, and I'll probably put Day of Reckoning 2 there as well. Legends of WrestleMania. Huge shout out to Super Mario Wii 2007. This game, very much like Legends of Wrestling. So I'm gonna defer back with Clue. We'll split the difference and call it an E. It's okay. It's just okay. All Stars did it better. Raw 2. This is what DJ Crystal Clear was talking about. This game was a stinker. This is what was supposed to compete with SmackDown, because SmackDown was PlayStation exclusive. And I want to show you guys. The gameplay was just all over the place. And they were bragging about like dynamic lighting. They had the momentum bars, but it was so hard to control. The refs were jacked. Look at how the ref is just like, he's bigger than Eddie Guerrero is. And you just never knew what you were doing. It was just tap any button. Let's see it right here. I'm going to go with an F. Here comes the pain. As we mentioned, man. Here comes the pain. S tier. We'll talk about S plus. Steroid era. Exactly. Here it comes the pain's one of the greatest, man. Anything on Game Boy Advance I haven't played. SmackDown versus Raw 2011. Right here. Right here. Hanging out at a C. WWF Attitude. This game isn't great. Okay? It was very stiff. But it had the look and the feel of Attitude. But that's where it stopped. I think that's a good place for it. Betrayal. Here we go. The SmackDown games. SmackDown 1 is really responsible for me really having a love for wrestling games. I'm going to put it here. SmackDown 2 stepped it up, though. It stepped it up one more notch. I feel like that can go into the A category. That's a great game. SmackDown versus Raw. Guess where this is going? Right here in the middle. They're okay. Haven't played that one. This one, though. 2007, bro. 2007. A plus. 2007 was legit. It was really, really good. That was one of the first games, too, where Triple H would drink the water and spit it out, and it actually came out of his mouth. Good game. I'm not even sure what that is. Shut Your Mouth. That's not the right cover for it. I think that's the Japanese cover. I'm going to go with... That was right there with 2. Clue agrees with that one. Okay. And let me know, man, if I get out of pocket. It was the WrestleMania games. So I'm going to tell you right now, this goes here. This goes right here. WrestleMania. I think I got Day of Reckoning mixed up. I did. Day of Reckoning was the one that was on GameCube. I'm going to drop that down. It was these WrestleMania games. These WrestleMania games, I'm telling you, for the time, they really nailed the whole weapons thing. It was very fluid. Those are pretty fun games. Clue agrees. Okay, good. That's what's up. 2006. 2006 was, again, right here. I would put... That's on the DS. Never played. Showdown Legends of Wrestling 2. That's actually 3. Of them all, where did we put? We gave the first one an E. I think Showdown was probably the better of the 3. How do you feel about that, Clue? I think they're mid-tier. Little lower. ECW, Anarchy. I didn't play that DS game. Warzone. Warzone again goes right there with Attitude. Good idea. Good. A great cover. But it just... Yeah, it just wasn't great. Clue says Showdown 1 was good. Yeah, it was... That was where we... I mean, look at the lineup there. Andre, Hulk, Macho Man, Sting, and Ultimate Warrior, and Jake the Snake. Just never high. Yeah. It's okay. TNA Impact on DS, never played. 19. I think we can all agree. 2K19. Right there. ECW was the same as Warzone. I will rock with you on that one. I will absolutely defer to you on that. Fair enough. Thunder. I think Thunder. I've played Thunder. The one thing about Thunder that it's not as good as these games. I'm going to put Thunder here, not because it's a great game, but it had those, like, it has probably the best wrestling game select screen. It has the best because the wrestlers are like talking crap to each other and stuff like that, and really talking crap to the selectors, like why you should pick them. So I'll put Thunder there. That's a way too high for gameplay, but for what it was, that's one of those things that you show your friends. Matter of fact, let's just pull one up real quick. WCW Nitro game select screen. These are great. I gotta pause the music. These are awesome. I would not be mad if they stole this idea. Intros and rants. Check this out. First of all, that's throwback. So if you pick the wrestler,
You know I tricked you before, I'm gonna trick you again, but this time the torture is gonna last longer on the Hollywood Walk of Shame.
I love those, man. Those are great. That's really just classic. Clue says the outlandish part of the game for ECW was the fire and brimstone matches where like Onita created the game and plays FMW in the game. I've heard about those. Here we go, All Stars. Yeah, I've heard about how there was that brimstone. And didn't Backyard Wrestling like rip it off or something like that too? This goes right here. The best arcade game for sure. WWE 13, hated it, bro. Hated it. I'm gonna put it there. Clue said yes on it. Okay. Here it is, man. No Mercy. Right here. Now, why have I not put it in the S plus? Because we're only gonna give one to S plus. You got to be in this range for us to talk about S plus. All Elite General Manager. I'm gonna tell you right now. Never played. Probably won't. Raw was worse than Raw 2. They were so bad. Day of Reckoning goes right there with the other one. That was Day of Reckoning 2, but it goes right here. Oh, you can order these. All right, maybe we'll do that too. 2K18. mid. It was okay. Haven't played that. ECW Revolution. I want to give this one a clue. Let me know what you're feeling on that one. I'm going to put it here. You let me know where I need to go with that one. Rage Cage. Backyard Wrestling. I've never played that. Crush Hour, I have played. It's like Twisted Metal. It's not good. Okay, and Clue said F on ECW. Fair enough. There goes the In Your House. I've played that too. It's not very good either. I'd be willing to give that an F. Royal Rumble on Dreamcast, never played. The arcade game. Again, a step down from All Stars, but very good. Raw on the Genesis. I don't think anything until all the ECW games are Fs. Fair enough. I would say anything before the Nintendo 64 era, they're not great games, right? I had Royal Rumble. I'm going to give it an F. I'm going to give it an E. I had it. It was okay. Mayhem is definitely an F. That game is terrible. We're cooking through these now. Here we go. Now here's where the debates start. Revenge. Revenge for me is like here. Now we can talk about where these two go. I think we can all agree they're not No Mercy, but they're pretty stinking good. I would actually go here and here. That's where I'd put them. Clue said Royal Rumble was great with the Mr. Perfect theme. Yes. And I mean, it was what it was, right? It's not, again, I'll split the difference with you. We'll come up a level. On that. That's not bad. What is this? I don't even know what that is. The original SmackDown versus Raw. I feel like the story mode in this game alone was probably the best one they did in the SmackDown versus Raw. That's why I'm going to give it the edge. Yeah, I feel good about that. One. TNA Impact. I'm going to defer. I never played that. Wrestling Revolution, 3D. We're getting through a couple here. Nitro. I didn't play Nitro, but I'm willing to bet it's going to fit right here. That's not fair because I didn't play it. I didn't play that either. D for Nitro? Fair enough. All right. I'll go with you on that. World Tour. That's another one, man. For me, this is where I found out. I think Ultimo Dragon was in this, and that's how I found him. Is it good as Revenge? I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it at a B. World Tour was good. Had a lot of other wrestlers, if my memory serves me right. Lord have mercy. We'll get there. WCW versus the World. That was a THQ one. That one's not bad. It wasn't great. I want to put it there. World Tour was before Nitro, right? Or was versus NWO, right. It was before Revenge, right? So it went World Tour, Revenge, and then WrestleMania, right? And then No Mercy. Yeah, I thought the THQ, it was decent. It was decent. Here, sorry, I didn't finish moving this one. This wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And is it as good as these? Probably not. But it wasn't bad. I could be talked into that. That's fair. All right. These ones. Whoo, doggy. For me, truth be told, right here. Now, can I be convinced? Yes. But SmackDown versus Raw, while they weren't extremely great, they were better than these early 2K games. And this guy, we all know where this is going. They had a good wrestling run within their company genre and generation. I think that's fair on the THQ ones, for sure. What is that? I don't know what that is. It doesn't even have a title. Battlegrounds is one of the worst wrestling games I've ever played. Aftershock on Engage, I can probably tell you that's not good. With Authority. Glitch City, you ain't lying. WrestleMania 21 on GameCube. This is where that legacy of those WrestleMania games was pretty good. I would put that right in line with the other ones here. They were all pretty good. Those were, if you had a GameCube coming out of the N64, you still got some quality wrestling games. For sure. Road to WrestleMania. Super WrestleMania. Had this game in the grand scope of things. It's right here with the Royal Rumble. Back in the day, loved it. But it's definitely not as memorable. WrestleFest, the arcade game. Now, I played this on stream the other day. It's not fantastic, but it's super nostalgic. So I'm gonna go here. It's still a lot of fun to play, even though you're just mashing buttons. We'll go there. Oh, sorry, I don't got any music on for you guys. You guys just listen to my voice. Now, Fire Pro. Where do you think Fire Pro? Appreciate you, Coop. Fire Pro Wrestling returns. So I'm assuming this is like the third one. Oh my gosh. Some of these games, dude. Oh, they do have 2K22 in there. Fire Pro Wrestling. I've never played it. All right. But I'm going to defer. This is Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. I'm willing to give that a shot. A couple of the Japanese games I haven't played. This is going to shock some people. Bought this game. Played with, shout out to Wrestling God Streams. I did not like this game at all. Retromania was not fun. It was right on the level of Battlegrounds. I played it a couple of times and I was like, this is just not engaging for me at all. Didn't like it. Rumble Roses, I have played. And this was like Fire Pro is a good story to follow. Pro Returns haven't played. We're gonna give we'll put that as an honorable mention, right? Never played, but we'll put it ahead of the pack. Rumble Roses is basically Dead or Alive, but wrestling. And as crazy as it sounds, I'm going to put it right here at a C. It's fun. They all had like finishing moves that were kind of like Mortal Kombat-esque. It's fun. It's something I think you should try out if you can get your hands on it. A lot of these I haven't played. This guy we're going to wait for just a second because it's the most recent. Oh, here's the Fire Pro. So again, we'll put those at the front of the list. Most of these other ones. Now, here's the thing. This is the only one I'm going to give a grade I have not played, but I can tell you it's an F. A wrestling game for the first Connect is probably not good, right? I think we can all agree on that. A lot of these other ones haven't played. Nice that they've been put on the list. And then Ultimate Muscle. This is big because this game is not bad. I know I talked a little crap about it earlier, but it's on the it's the Aki engine though. It's not as good as Day of Reckoning. I feel good with it there. Clue says FP Evolution is deep in creativity when it comes to their community. I have to bring you some Big Willyisms DRFW stream to see one. Okay. Definitely worth the education for sure. Where do we put this guy? I can tell you it's at least a C. Here's my thought, okay? 2K22 has broken online. So when we talk about online or couch co-op, there. You know what? And again, Def Jam, Vendetta, and Fight for New York is not on there. Let's use one to represent it. How about this? This will be Def Jam. Okay? We'll use Hulk Hogan, who's notoriously not the greatest of people, but we'll use this for Def Jam. And we're going to call this Fight for New York. We'll get back to 2K22. I think it's S tier. I think it's No Mercy. It was an updated No Mercy with rappers in it. Where does 2K22 sit? Is it better than SmackDown 2, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, All Stars, Revenge? I think so. Here's my explanation why. The single player content is better than all of these games. These had some good stories in them. All Stars was fun. The couch co-op or online is probably about here. Clue said yes, so I agree. All right. Is 2K22 better than 19? I think so. Is it better than WrestleMania 2000? Yes. Yes, because I feel like Showcase is better than WrestleMania 2000. Is it better than SmackDown versus Raw 2007? Yes, because I think it's got a better Showcase mode or single player mode. Now, is 2K22 as good as Here Comes the Pain, No Mercy, and Def Jam? Will we look back at 2K22 and say, yeah, that was a pivotal moment? I would say yes. And here's why. If we look back at all the rest of the 2K games outside of 16 and 19, where are they? Right? So they had to take 21 off. And really, if 22 really would have stunk, I don't think we would have got 23. This was a pivotal game that I think we'll look back on and go, they did enough. It was good. It's fun. They changed it up. And again, that showcase mode with Rey Mysterio was by far the best one. I think that was the best showcase mode. It had heart. It had tributes. It had exciting moments. The camera angles were great. I think that alone puts it there. And then you think about a lot of the support. Although they hurt the modding community, the support for sharing everything. It's what you wanted out of a modern wrestling game. So that brings us to these guys right here. And again, I can be persuaded. When we start moving these guys into S tier or S plus tier, it comes down to a couple of things. SmackDown versus Raw has by far the best visuals for a wrestling game. Clue said, would they add more to the DLC? That's what hurts this, right? But I think they learned a lesson because 20, they did too much with the DLC. Doing all those weird, like, you can be a reindeer or a pumpkin and all of that stuff. They were trying to do the stuff with the Fiend. But then I felt like they didn't do enough. When we talk about S+, we're talking about pretty much perfect. And I can't say 2K22 was perfect because of the online. Online is just, you get on, you get one move off, and then you're done. That's really one of my only criticisms with 2K22. I don't want the whole, you only have so many reversals. I think there's another solution. I don't know what it is. When we talk about Here Comes the Pain, the problem with Here Comes the Pain now is that graphically it's not as good as 2K22. But no, neither is No Mercy, right? Neither is Def Jam. So I think you got to throw that argument out. Is Here Comes the Pain mechanically? It was very much like No Mercy. You had to grab first, and then you were able to decide your hold from there. So for that reason alone, because I feel like No Mercy, I'm a SmackDown guy. I always wanted SmackDown to even beat No Mercy back in the day. But without No Mercy's refinement, I gotta put it here. Over Here Comes the Pain. Now, I think 2K22 These are both the best in the series, if you will, even though they're kind of the same series. Of those two, I still go with Here Comes the Pain first. You gave me a remake of this instead of 23, I'd be happier with a remake. The question is Def Jam. And this comes down to, is Def Jam a wrestling game? IGN seems to think so. I agree that it is. The problem is when you say best wrestling game, there's no pinning. There's no referee. There's no classically wrestling type of things. No Mercy's problem. And again, Def Jam refined even Here Comes the Pain, right? Instead of having meters that showed you like if your arm was hurt, you just knew because your guy was holding his arm. Kind of like No Mercy, right? The difference was Def Jam Fight for New York came out of nowhere. Even though Vendetta was good, it came out of nowhere because we were all expecting a regular wrestling game, and it was like a street brawler. That being said, I gotta go like this. Even though I think Def Jam, if you put them both down in front of me right now, which one would I rather play? I'd rather play Def Jam. Because Def Jam has the whole package. The Creator Wrestler was fantastic. The music was on point. The weapons, the everything. The difference is that title of wrestling game. If I gave you Def Jam Fight for New York, and I said this is the best wrestling game of all time, you'd go, but it's not wrestling. Clue said, would you say the same about Vendetta, which is purely based on wrestling, where Fight for New York became pit fighting, and the same with Icon? I would say, that's the thing. Do you look at Def Jam as one, like, is Fight for New York basically 1.5 in the sense of like same story, refined, and it came from a wrestling, like it's the whole story, right, is basically like they've taken it out of organized to being unorganized. The three aspects of Def Jam are different. That's the thing. That's exactly the thing. The next thing I would have to look at is legacy. And I think that's what makes the difference. Styles make the difference. Exactly. When we look at the legacy of No Mercy, right? We look at WrestleMania 2000, we look at Revenge, we look at World Tour, and again, kind of WrestleMania because they had the same kind of feel. Even Here Comes the Pain. This game kind of defines, it is the greatest amongst this legacy, and there's no misses here, right? Even World Tour, you go back and play World Tour, it's not as good as No Mercy, but you still can pick that game up and go, yeah, this feels right. Same thing with Revenge. As a matter of fact, when I play them, I try to play them at least once a year. I usually play them in that order. The problem with Def Jam is, man, Vendetta was great. Vendetta, I would put Vendetta at an A+. The only thing Vendetta didn't have really was that flavor that New York had. New York, you just feel like you're fighting for New York, right? But Icon kind of hurts Fight for New York. Just like a 0.5. Icon, while I didn't mind it, I didn't love it. Icon for me is like a C. It's fine, but it's real. If they would have called it something else, Def Jam, anything else. But because they were trying to make it as it wasn't a sequel, but it was a sequel. And I can't think of that producer, the guy with the long hair and the glasses. What was his name? He was trying to do everything. He's the one who made Fight Night amazing and then just crapped on Def Jam. Def Jam Icon producer. Kudo Sonoda. Wonder where he's at nowadays. He had made the Fight Night games just incredible. They were so good. What is he doing right now? Yeah, I thought he went to Microsoft at one point in time. Consultant, educator, life coach. So it looks like he just completely got out of the game, bro. That's him, though. That's him, bro. He had them sunglasses all the time. And he was a celebrity. What happened to it? Oh, he went to HoloLens. That's crazy. Yeah, he really hurt the legacy. Who was the producer of Def Jam? Fight for NY. Josh Holmes. See, it was Aki. Didn't he DMX leave? Oh, DMX wanted more money to be in Fight for New York. Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, man. Clue said he's still at Microsoft. He was the Ronnie before Ronnie became 2K's worst community guy to certain folks in the 2K community. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like Ronnie. I'm indifferent. Gosh, David Banner was in this game. I don't know, man. I wonder, one more thing before, how much is Fight for New York going for right now? Shit, bro. $70? I'd buy that. We gotta be careful with these though. They'll sell you the case for $90. 350 bones, bro. And what's crazy is you cannot play this game on anything higher than a PS3. That's crazy to me. That case is $40. And my homeboy had this, bro. Like on PS2. Now, just for comparison, You can get Icon for $10. Everybody thought that was LeBron, I remember. It's LeBron James on the cover of Def Jam Icon. Yikes. If I can get a PS3, bro, we're gonna play this. I gotta find a PS3 somewhere. The concept of Icon was cool. But all they had to do was mix the two. Make Fight for New York, but then with the Icon DJing thing, and it would have been golden. But they went with this weird art style. Everything was like that. Remember when Xbox had everything kind of like muted? The character models looked good. For the time. Now let's be fair. Let's be fair. Let's go look at just value. Apparently No Mercy has like a huge modding community. Oh, you can get it for $28? It is an N64 game, so I get it, but you know what? It's our list. Let's call it a tie. While we're at it, do we want to throw Here Comes the Pain in as a tie as well? We could call these the top three. Like if you had to play 3 wrestling games, EA Chicago had potential. It did. It really did. We'll have to do boxing games. We'll have to rank boxing games for sure. How do you feel about that, Clue? You think we can get away with? It seems like a cop-out. I think I made a case for No Mercy. But the more I think about it, like Def Jam, I don't know. These 3, it's hard. I feel like this is third. But you could switch these 2. Easy. I wouldn't be mad at either one of those. Well, that just about does it, guys. I appreciate you all coming through. Clue says it would work. There is a long line of games. Okay, yeah. I think all 3 of these lead you at least to here. You got some oddballs, but it leads you to here. You could get all the way from these 3, you could get here. Or you could start here and work your way up and still feel like those 3 are the top dogs. I think that's pretty fair. Worst game that I've played of the worst. Yeah. I gotta go with Battlegrounds, man. Battlegrounds is but raw. I would almost put Raw there. Battlegrounds is the least playable. It's playable in the sense that it works. Raw, there was things that like just didn't work. That's it for tonight, guys. Appreciate you guys all for coming out. Shout out to Historical for coming back. Shout out to Clue. Shout out to Super Mario Wii. Shout out to DJ. I gotta go catch up on some AEW stuff. Good stream tonight, man. Lots of fun hanging out with you guys. If you guys like these, let me know. We can do lots more of these rankings. Appreciate you guys all. Make sure to like, subscribe. Thank you for checking out the channel. And until next time, be kind to one another. Remember to choose your destiny. My name's Select Screen, and I'm out.